The case for Donald Trump. Let's get into it. Donald Trump is not perfect. He is not an ideal. It's like the joke that goes around on Twitter and everywhere else is that he's not the one we asked for, but he's the one we needed, you know? And I think there's a lot of truth to that. Donald Trump is someone who has stirred the pot so hard that I think that everyone has taken notice. Nobody really said much about Obama. Sorry for the air. I'm just a little chilly. No one really made a fuss about Obama. Earlier on, it's like, yeah, there were the conservatives who were, just saying Obama was going to make himself, according to Operation Jade Helm, he's going to turn, And of course, we've seen the reverse of this, where people are now saying, well, Trump is going to turn the country into a fascist nation. How is he going to do that? With who? Who is he, how is he going to do that? It doesn't make any sense. How is he going to turn? I thought the United States was already a fascist nation. It doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry for the dead air. I apologize. But it doesn't make any sense, this idea that he's going to turn the United States into a fascist nation. If the United States was already a fascist nation, what's the point of trying to, it's like, you can't have double fascism, can you? I think I already said this point, but I figure I would make it again. Because I think it's important to say. I think it's very important to say because, we realize just how wild things are. With a Joe Biden presidency, what are you really going to get? What are you going to get? You're going to get a return to, neoliberalism. You will have a return to, respectable politics. We're not going to have Donald Trump go around and say all this wild stuff. We're going to have Joe Biden who's going to, stutter his way through and everything else. Meanwhile, the left thinks somehow, to me, the left is falling into the same trap that the alt-right did. I mean, the alt-right had plenty of problems. Don't get me wrong. Whether it was Matthew Heimbach banging Matt Parrott's wife, or Richard Spencer just being the cringe lord that he was, or so many other things. But the thing is that the left is falling into this trap where it's like, well, if we elect Joe Biden, then we'll have bourgeoisie democracy back. We'll have more respectable politics back. We'll be dabbing on liberals instead of fighting fascism. The reality is that fascism does not have that much control. The thing is, they call Poland fascist. They call Hungary fascist. These are not fascist nations. They are barely conservative. They call the Italian dude, I can't even think of his name now. They call him a fascist. When in reality, he gives some notion to limiting immigration. Just because you want to limit immigration does not make you a fascist. And the thing is, the thing is, these are from the same people who say that Pinochet, that's it, Pinochet. They say that Pinochet was a fascist. In reality, Pinochet was just a libertarian who was supported by the Chicago School and all that sort of thing. Now, of course, I know you could give your own arguments and say, was Pinochet a fascist or was he just, we have such simplified definitions. What I will say is that Donald Trump is not going to accomplish much in the next 4 years if he does get reelected. He will not. But the thing is, though, is that it will keep the goobers at bay. That's all he's going to do. He's going to keep the goobers at bay. And it'll prevent some people from being arrested and being put in jail. That's all that really matters. I don't, do I love Donald Trump? No, I don't. But I think that it's one of those, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That's all it is. That's how I feel about him. I don't think Donald Trump is a genius. I don't think that his choices of cabinet have been brilliant. No, he kicks people out, more so than he kicks out hookers out of, than somebody kicks hookers out of their apartment. But in reality, though, is he's keeping things at bay. He is leading to, he is on the, he is leading the path towards the United States, getting the hell out of the world's business. And I know people can say, oh, but what about, getting involved in Syria and the big bomb and, what about the OAS? It's like, all right, fine. I'm not going to sit here and just say it's whataboutism. I'll say, yeah, he's not perfect. But I will say, though, is that he is generally positive on the DPRK, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. People want the U.S. and the U.S.'s influence out of the world. That's what they want. People want the United States out of the world's business. Now, apparently, even, we've seen, of course, Jason Unruh start to shit on Bolivia. I'm sorry, I'm sounding like Vosh. I'm sorry. I'll just say Bolivia. Bolivia criticizing their government because they are already putting in measures to create austerity. And that's never a good thing. But then, of course, he's just like, well, they're going to make it easier to get the products for making batteries. To get the, damn it. Oh, man. I'm sorry. Lithium. There we go. Yeah, lithium. The lithium in Bolivia. And this is to help people like Elon Musk, this and that. And so I think it's too soon to say, but I think they're just being strategic. Do you want to take, it's like if you're Bolivia and you just got back in, do you think somehow that, you're going to shit on the United States immediately and just be like, oh, screw you, we're going to ban? No, they're not going to be that stupid. They don't want to get assassinated. So they are going to play the game right now. This is the whole problem with these folks who think that, somehow, Jason Unruh, what is your fat ass going to do? That's what I would say to Jason Unruh. It's like, you want to shit on China, but then you'll say, well, the Hong Kong protests aren't real. Okay, yeah, I agree with you. The Hong Kong protests are fake and they are astroturf. I will agree with you. But to shit on China and say, oh, well, China's a fascist country because they made a song that I didn't like. Bro, let it the fuck go. China has a 5,000 plus year history. Where the hell does anyone get off having anything other than a centrist, neutral view on China? Where it's like either, oh, I'm going to suck China's cock and say China's the greatest nation in the world, or saying that China is awful. I have a centrist view that China is what it is. They have a long history. There's a lot of stuff that goes down, and ultimately, I think that they are trying to keep the country together. And that's all that matters. The rest, I can agree or disagree with, but I'm going to say centrist in that way. And I think the United States, apart from the, of course, the recent stuff that's happened, of course, is that Trump has a Chinese bank account somewhere and has money and everything else, blah, blah, blah. I don't really care. It's like, okay, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to go into China and get that money back? Are you going to, subpoena those records? I don't think China is just, whatever bank is in China. I don't think that they're going to say, oh, yeah, sure. Howla, yeah. Here's the bank account right here, Sheshini, Gausa. I don't think that they're, I don't think anybody's going to do that, By the way, Sheshini, that just means thank you. And Gausa, at least from what I've heard from Kung Fu movies, just means I'm headed out. So I don't think anyone's going to go up there and be like, yeah, Sheshini, Bao Chong, goodbye. Yeah. Bao Chong, Gaosa, whichever you want to say. But it's like, you're not going to do anything about it. You're not going to do a thing about it. I think that's really all I have to say. I think that with Donald Trump, he has forced the EU to finally pull up their pants, put on a belt and say, you know what? Let's go ahead and get some shit together. And has at least given indications to say, yes, the United States, we don't need, we need to stop being in Europe. We're spending all this money there. And the European Union does nothing. The German military today, they are just now starting to modernize more. They just replaced the MG3, which is a copy of which is pretty much as an MG42. Of course, people will say, of course, if you ask a German, no, it is not an MG42, 9. It is the MG3, which has similarity, but is not German, 9. Das ist Wahnsinn. Das ist Wahnsinn. Natürlich. They don't want to be connected with anything to do with Third Reich. They don't want to. If they do, they keep it way under the radar and they keep it hidden at home. Anyway, in terms of policy here in the United States, I feel like you think that Biden is going to be polite to BLM or Antifa or any of these. I know Antifa is just an idea. Guess what? That's going to change when he comes into office. If he does get elected, if Joe Biden gets elected, this idea where he's just going to shoot him in the legs, it's going to go much worse. Once he actually sees the real footage, once he's, in his office and they say, Mr. President, here's what they've been doing. He's going to say, well, we're going to, we're not going to shoot him in the legs. We're going to aim for center mass, And you think that Kamala Harris, do you think that she's just going to be like, oh, yeah, we're going to, just let them protest this and that? No. So this idiotic idea, once again, I'm running it back. This is just some schizophrenia right here, but you know what? I don't care. But this 3D chess move that idiots like Vosh think, because Biden will bring back some sort of, respectable politics, or people that actually give speeches that talk about, bringing the country together. Joe Biden is not going to do that. I'm just going to tell you that. He's not going to. Joe Biden it's already been shown that he has people that, has spent a lot of their career working at CNN. He's going to bring in all these cronies, this and that. You think somehow that's going to change something? It's wild to think about, isn't it? It's wild to think about. But yeah, it's not going to change a damn thing. All right, I've just passed the 14-minute mark. I apologize. That was way too dang long. But you know what? Basically, if you want the United States, TLDR, I'll just do it this way. TLDR, if you want the United States to get the hell out of the world's business and to at least set down some rules so that we can get the hell out of the business of Korea, of Korean unification, which should happen, if for no other reason than as a way of saving face so that the United States doesn't lose more troops in Korea, because we don't need to lose anymore. We don't need to. We don't need to lose people in Syria anymore. We don't need this. Let's stop having let's stop having all our servicemen, service people, we'll say it that way, because there's obviously trannies and men and women as well. But, of our service personnel coming back to the United States so that they can rebuild this huge infrastructure problem that we have. Get them back home, put them in, make them all engineers, and have them start rebuilding this country. Let's do it like FDR does. I know that, the left, once again, I'm speaking this in broad terms, but a lot of the, Ben Burgess types and everything else, they want to go on and talk about FDR being so based and, based in socialist pilled, but it's just, but I think that having the military go out and help rebuild the country, to me, is a much better idea. That's just me. And now, 16 minutes on, I think I've said my piece. Like I say, I will cut it down a couple minutes, and I will try to cut out the dead air as much as I can. But from there, I say thank you very much for listening. And you know what? I hope American listeners that hear me vote Donald Trump, not because he's the greatest president and, all the MAGA peds and whatnot, but because Biden is just going to go back to the way things were, which weren't that great in the first place, and will ultimately, be worse for all political ideologies, regardless of what morons like Vosh have to say. That's my case. It's not that brilliant, but you know what? It's all we got. I think I will leave it there. Y'all have a good day. See you later. Goodbye.